Hello everyone and welcome in this new recording. Today I would like to discuss about this new tool that I've been writing lately. So you have this on screen right now, and this is a tool which I call NervLab, and it's a very simple experiment, let's say. It's only used to be able to manipulate some images, but for me it was an interesting project because again, I've been using that mostly to get a bit more familiar with WebGPU. So you have access to this project. It's available online, so if you go on this URL, you should get the same display. You will have to download the application, and well, you also need to do that with a browser which completely support WebGPU, of course, so Chrome probably, because everything you see here is actually 3D rendered, so yeah, we definitely need WebGPU. Anyway, let's just get started with that. Once you get to this application default display, so you're displaying this checkerboard image by default, the first thing you probably want to do is to try to open a local image. So you have this menu here at the top, which by the way is completely similar to what I've been using for the the project which I've called TerraGen before, but I'm going to change that name, so I'm going to call that Nerv Terra in the future. I mean, in the next update. Anyway, so you just go on File and you select Open Local Image. Maybe I could find something. No, not in the project, probably temp folder. Well, let's go with Death Stranding. Let's select a nice image for a start. I mean, everything is nice in Death Stranding. I like this game. So let's say this is the image that you want to manipulate here. Yeah, after that you need to go in the display menu and you just open this control panel, and this is where you have the settings that you can tweak for all the different effects that we are currently supporting. The first one we have in the list is the blur effect. Yeah, let's start with blur anyway. So you can manipulate the kernel size, sigma value, and the sampling scale. The kernel size and sigma are probably what you would consider normal settings for a Gaussian blur kernel. I mean, if you are familiar with that. And there was another implementation, in fact, which is not really using sigma and kernel size, which I was using initially, but I just decided to replace that with this version because to me this is a bit more flexible. The other version was requiring multiple rendering passes, so yeah, you could probably end with too many passes in the end. Anyway, you would typically increase your kernel size. This is the number of pixels, I mean half of the number of pixels that you have around your current pixel to do the blur computation. So if you set that to, let's say 20, it means you have, well, I have a hard time, yes, 20. You have 20 pixels on the left, then your pixel that you're currently considering, and then 20 pixels on the right, and you do the blur on all those pixels together. And you also need to increase the sigma, because sigma of 1 means everything is focused on the single pixel in the center, so it's not blurring anything. But if you start increasing that, you will see that the image is starting to get pretty blurry, in fact. Point is, the more pixels that you have in your kernel size here, the more sampling you need. I mean, for the simple application here, it's not really a big deal. You can sample 41 pixels for every pixel. That's not a serious matter at all. But if you are in a game engine and you want to do that, let's say for every frame, you probably want to limit the number of pixel sampling. So that's why I was also experimenting with this sampling scale, which is something that is not really standard, I think, but it should, because the idea is pretty interesting. It's just that when you do the sampling, instead of only using the pixel that are immediately next one to another, if you increase the scale to 2, you would just sample your center pixel and then 2 pixels on the left, or 2 pixels on the right, or the top, or the bottom. And then the next one will be pixel number 4 and pixel number 6 and so on. So you're not sampling every pixel on this process. So the scale allows you to increase your kernel size without increasing the number of texture sampling that you're going to do. And if you are not going crazy with this, it's producing nice results, in fact. But if you increase that way too much compared to, well, in this case it's not too bad, but if you increase it too much compared to your kernel size in some cases, then yeah, you may get some kind of artifacts like this. So it's just a matter of knowing what you want and knowing what the different settings we do. Alright, so next effect that we have in the list here is the sharpness control. So, well, okay, first thing, maybe I have this reset button, so we can just reset the settings, so that it's going to, well, revert all the settings to default, so no blur in this case. And we can just try to tweak the sharpness, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to notice anything in the recording itself, because the effect is very light. But in fact, there is some kind of sharpening occurring here. I could maybe discuss a bit the shaders themselves, so we probably should do that in another recording. For now, let's just stick to a quick overview of the different effects that we can apply. Anyway, so sharpness works, but you don't see that. Then you have the color control. You can just tweak, for instance, the hue value of the image. Oh, it's interesting this way. Or the saturation, if you wanted to make it maybe less saturated than even black and white on one side, or extremely colorful on the other side, which is an interesting result already, I think. Then the value is, in fact, from my current understanding, that's the same thing as the brightness control. I mean, if you put that to 1, for instance, and then you just tweak the brightness here, well, it's not exactly the same behavior, right? No, indeed, it's not exactly the same thing. So not changing the brightness of each pixel the same way, but it's similar. Yeah, brightness is more changing the image globally, so you see that everything, if you look at this part, you see that it's getting much brighter, much quicker. Alright, let's reset again. Contrast, that's just going to reduce or increase the contrast of your image, nothing fancy. And then we have this pixelation effect, which is something interesting, I think. I spent some time on that, working on the different shape, mostly for the pixelization. And I really like this effect in the end. So you have to explicitly enable the effect with this checkbox in this case. And next, you want to modify the pixel size. Here, pixel size is maybe not the best word, because you're actually modifying, I mean, yeah, in the end you're going to display big pixels in your pixelation, but that more like square area. So big, I mean, the area size should be a better name maybe. So you can increase that, and you will see that the image is getting more and more pixelated, because you have the size here of each square, which is getting bigger and bigger when you increase the value. And you have this merge ratio, which is used to specify that you want to maybe not use only the big pixel color, but also merge that with the underlying real pixel from the image. So right now the value is set to 1. It means that you are only using the big pixel center color, and if you reduce this value, you progressively get the underlying image visible again. So yep, I mean, you could use that to produce some kind of artistic effect, I guess, so why not? And if you put that to 0, you're completely back to the original image, of course. So okay, and next you also have this border size, which is very nice, because right now you have all those pixels that are just touching one another, and if you increase the border size, you will add a border space between each of them. So here, for instance, we have a 6 pixel border for well, when we say 6 pixels, it means every square will have 6 pixels on its left and on its right, which means that the actual space between two square is going to be 6 plus 6, so 12. So this is half of the border itself. And yeah, you can just increase the border to the point where you don't have any image anymore. And if you put that bigger than half the pixel size, of course, then yeah, it's completely black. Black or another color, because you can also just under this line specify the color that you want for the border. So you could just put that to red or white. And the nice thing is you could also turn that completely transparent or partially transparent, as you wish, which means that in the end image, if you're just saving this image at the end, then you will get those square with transparent spaces between them. All right, so that, oh no, that's not it yet, because we have seen that for square display, but you also have support for circular display, so displaying those small circles. Right now, maybe the circles are a bit, well, too big. So you can reduce that, but we need to reduce the border size also, otherwise it's a mess. So you get the idea. So you can display the circle, or another one which is very cool is the hexagon display. So as you see here, we're not displaying square areas anymore, but rather hexagonal areas. And the border size is still working the same in this case, so you can just have the border around every hexagon. Alright, let's just maybe put this back to black. Okay. And I think this is it then for the pixelation effect. Yes, so let's just disable that again and reset the settings. Then we come to the chromatic aberration effect. This is another nice and pretty simple effect to implement, in fact. So you can just activate that again with this checkbox, and then you just select which channel you want to apply the aberration on. Let's stay on red. If the radius is 1 or 0, you don't see much, in fact, but then you can just start increasing that and you get the aberration effect. And you can also decide what is the direction for the aberration. So if you change the value here, you see that you're actually rotating around every pixel location. So that will be what you get for the red aberration. Then you have green or blue. Alright, and finally we have this edge detection effect. So that's going to perform edge detection kernel on the complete image, and the intensity will control the intensity of the output, so you can just get either completely white or you get the effect applied. And this one is maybe not that useful yet, but I just wanted to try implementing that anyway. Okay, so that's it for the list of effects that we have available here. Another thing I need to mention is you can actually combine all this together. So you can just have maybe the chromatic aberration enabled and your edge detection enabled, so you see that it's performing the two operations, except that you don't really have a control yet on the order of the operation. So this is in fact something I would like to work on next, which would be to provide some kind of graph construction mechanism, so we could just have multiple nodes, and those nodes would be used to perform operation on the image, and then you could select which node comes first and which is a sibling or a sub node or whatever, and you could just build the graphs this way, a bit like how you build a geometry graph with geometry nodes in Blender. That's just what I was thinking about at this moment. And okay, so let's just try maybe pixelation. Pixelation with edge detection produce weird results because the pixelation, the edge detection is done afterwards, so you get the edge detection only on the squares themselves, which is producing this kind of garbage, let's say. So with circle it's even worse. You just get, yeah, those circles. But yeah, why not? So let's disable this edge detection anyway. And yeah, you could just tweak everything, like the color themselves and so on. Once you have changed some settings for your image, if you like the result, the nice thing is you can actually save the output. You can just go here on save image, and that would allow you to let's go on Death Stranding again. Let's just call that output image to save the resulting image here. So you can just open that normally and you get this display. Alright. What is cool is if you find some kind of setting that you like and you want to apply that to multiple images, you can just keep your settings as they are and just go on the open file again and just select another file, and yeah, there you go. It should just display the same settings applied on your new image, and again you can just save that afterwards. So yeah, I guess this is it then for the quick overview of this new application. Again, it's only just well, very initial version of it. There would be a lot to add or to improve, I guess, but if you want to try that and you have any feedback to provide, yeah, feel free to let me know, and I will see what I can do to improve in some specific direction if this is required. And well, okay, so I guess this is it now. So if you have any question on this, please let me know, and otherwise I'll see you the next time I make an update on this project or the other project I'm working on. So have a nice day, bye bye.